Hello and welcome once again to the Management Channel. This time we are going to talk about power and social influence. Now, power definitely comes usually from supervision and management, but there's also employee empowerment, which is power. So that works for both sides. As a leader, you want to be the world's best boss, and that kind of power is one that keeps in touch with what's going on in the operation and consults the employees on a regular basis. But then you have the other kind of power, the bad kind of power, and as we already know, a dictator is bad power. They don't have a lot of followers, but the odd part is they can have social influence. And look at how Hitler united all of Germany into his mad plans. So, our objectives here is we want to further enhance the aspects of leadership power. We want to learn about the different bases of power and the influential tactics. Consider how power can change the power holder. Someone who's never had power before and doesn't know how to handle it all of a sudden has this enormous amount of power. What happens? Discuss how unequal power affects team interactions and what minority influence is. Learn what empowerment means and problems organizations face when trying to empower teams. So, let's first of all look at social responsibility and sustainability. That's the responsibility of the firm to act in the best interest of the people and communities affected by its activities. Sustainability is closely related to corporate social responsibility. Sustainability refers to a company's ability to produce a good or a service without damaging the environment or depleting a resource. Power is the capacity or ability to change the beliefs, attitudes, and or behaviors of others. Social influence is an attempt to affect or change other people's opinions and behaviors. A difference between compliance and acceptance. Compliance is a change in behavior due to social pressure, but not a change in their belief or attitude. In other words, they feel like they have to go along with it. Acceptance is a change in both behavior and attitude as a result of social pressure. Well, I don't like it, but everybody else is for it, so I guess I'm in. Conformity versus obedience. Well, first of all, conformity is participants who work alone rarely make mistakes. However, when group pressure is applied, people are willing to make mistakes. Smaller groups are more apt to conform, and cohesive groups have more power to influence other members. Thus, the smaller the group and the more cohesive, the more they are apt to create conformity. And we don't want conformity. That's like groupthink. Obedience, participants are more apt to obey an authority figure even when the request is inappropriate. The more legitimate the authority, the more likely people will be obedient. People were obedient even when authority figures did not have the power to reward or punish. Teams are more apt to obey authority figures, and thus it weakens team authority. Individual member power. Recall we discussed this in a previous lecture here in this Management Channel session, particularly under HR. Personal self-power derives from the individual's personality and their characteristics. It includes their expert, referent, and information power. Position or harsh power is based on the individual's formal position, and it includes legitimate power, reward power, and coercive power. Influence tactics depends on the target and the objective. So as you can see here in this chart, these are social influence tactics and different types that you might use, like a rational argument or personal appeals. So I'm going to let you read this for a moment, and again, you can pause it if you need more time. Power is rewarding. So those who have it, though, unfortunately, always want more. The more power you have, the more you feel like you're on top of everything and in charge. But it also has a corrupting influence. People with power often give themselves a higher share of rewards. It's easier to give commands rather than make requests. Why teams should rotate leaders? When a leader knows that they're going to become a member again, they're less likely to use any overly controlling power tactics. Now, let me back up for just 1 second. As a manager, it doesn't hurt you to say, hey, can you take care of that for me, please? Instead of, hey, you, get over there and do that. Which one do you think the employee is more apt to respond to? Unequal power. In teams, power is distributed differently from group to group. In some groups, and the ones that work the best, everybody has the equal amount of power. But in some cases, there are those who have a little more power than others, depending on the type of group. When there is unequal power, there is increased distrust, less communication, and more conflict. Members are less satisfied, less motivated. They feel intimidated, while some are actually intimidating. The best way to resolve is to establish a contract with norms and policies on how everyone will behave within the team. Minority influence. A minority could be anyone who resists the group pressure, doesn't have to be a minority person, and can be influential in changing the group process. It depends on their confidence and the belief in autonomy. Do I really have a voice here, or are they just going to ignore me? Because of a desire to be accepted by teams, most minorities may just conform to not upset the cart or rock the boat. The best option, if you're a leader of any kind, is to be a devil's advocate and stimulate thinking from a different perspective to get the minorities involved. Empowerment, really big word. It's giving employees more power and control over their task. The shift of power and authority from management down to employee teams. Let them be self-governed. Success depends on an organization's willingness to share information and power with their team members. The benefit is employees are more motivated, they're confident, and they have more of a sense of responsibility and authority. The benefit to the company is more effective and successful teams, thus greater organizational commitment and increased employee acceptance of change because they're involved and they're empowered. There are different degrees of empowerment. Depends on the management and responsibility given to the team, the social structure of the team, and the policies of the human resources policies. Successful methods of promoting empowerment are remove all management barriers, change the organizational structure and culture, provide adequate resources and remove any roadblocks or, as we call, speed bumps in the process, share adequate and timely information, and allow teams to make decisions and be responsible for their decision. Acting assertively. Power styles are passive or non-assertive, aggressive, and assertive. And you can see here from the chart that they have different impact and different times of use, different styles. I'm going to leave this chart up for a moment so you can digest it. And again, feel free to pause it if you need to. The use of power styles depends upon the situation, of course, and some teams are more productive when their communication is primarily assertive. Passive and aggressive styles create resentment, and they actually inhibit open communication among the members. Differences in power style are often attributed to personality, gender, and sometimes race. Women are generally perceived mistakenly as passive. Men are aggressive, but the truth is it really depends on the person and not their attribute of whether they're a male or female, etc. We want to encourage acting assertively. And encouraging requires active listening, positive recognition, and paraphrasing to make sure you understand and getting clarification. Ensure you make your expectations very clear. Learn when and how to withdraw from a conversation by either postponing or terminating the conversation when necessary. It can either end one way or the other depending on how you handle the situation. Each is uniquely different. You can have an upset crowd, or you can have a real team, genuine, friendly, let's do it together. So, that ends this section. Be sure to see the section on social responsibility. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.